The mysterious, the macabre, the out of this world. The following are real people. They have real stories, and they've had real encounters. Here tonight on Newsworthy, two words and two question marks.
He's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
Hello, and welcome to Encounters. Tonight we talk to Matt from Kentucky, who has not one, not two, but three really fascinating encounters. Tonight on Newsworthy, two words, two question marks. Hey there, welcome to Encounters. Tonight we have a wonderful guest that's about as close to family as you can get. He's my cousin. I'm excited to have him here. Tonight, Matt from Kentucky is going to share a couple of great stories with us, and I'm excited to hear both of them. So, one of them just really freaks me out. So, I'm excited to talk to you. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Not a lot. So you were going to tell us a first story you told me about was the Dogman story there in Central Kentucky. So tell me about Dogman because that's something that really interests me. We've not done a show on Dogman yet, but I think there's one probably in the works.
Right. So this whole story starts. I didn't even really think there was a such thing as Dogman. So as far as the Bigfoot and stuff, you just kind of see that stuff on TV. It kind of grabs your attention, and intrigues you. But you never really, you just move on past that. You're like, oh, this is neat, and you watch it. So the Dogman thing starts. So I don't know if your viewers were kind of know what a pay lake is. So what a pay lake is, it's practically a pond that a guy just stocks full of big catfish, and a bunch of hillbillies go over there. It's really like redneck lottery is what I call it. So you got a bunch of rednecks around a pond fishing for catfish for money. Well, the owner, we've become familiar with, just my group of guys. We's fishing out there, and his name was Tommy. And a group of guys, just standing around there vibing, and we got on the subject of aliens. We was talking about aliens and stuff, and that guy's like, Tommy, I mean, he's kind of rough around the edges guy. Like, I don't know how to explain him. Like, full blown hillbilly, hard ass, just tough. I don't know how to explain him. Like, you just have to one of those guys you just got to visualize this, to see. It wouldn't take crap off nobody, just like a tougher, rough around the edge redneck is what you want to call him.
I think the way you described him to me first was probably most accurate. He's a guy that if you had to envision a guy from Kentucky,
oh
if
yeah,
you've never been to Kentucky.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Like teeth jacked up, like smells like, stinky old catfish pond. But anyway, we were sitting around, group of us, vibing and fishing, and we got talking about aliens. He's like, you think, hey Tommy, you think we're alone in the universe? He's like, I don't believe in aliens. Then we got on that subject, and like he's like, I'll tell y'all something I seen that scared me to death. Like there's stuff out there like you don't even know. That kind of intrigued us, and we're sitting there listening to him. He starts telling a story. It's in Cynthiana. It's in Harrison County. It's called Shady Nook. And just the name of it sounds creepy anyway, but if you're around the area, so he was saying when he grew up, there was an old lady that had like a bunch of weird stuff hanging from her tree in the front yard, and she's just creepy, and all kids like stayed away from her house. So when they was younger, they just cut through fields and stuff and go to, Tommy's house or go, to his friend's house. He said he was cutting her through a field and going around her house, and it was tall and it was growed up, and he's like, and I want you guys to vision this hard ass guy. Like he's like tearing up while he's saying this. Like you could see like something that's bothering him telling us this story. Like he's like his eyes, and He's like, he's coming through like a thicket, and he's like, I just see this thing walking through this like hayfield, this grown up hayfield. He's like, I can see his shoulders, I can see his hands moving. He says I had like a snout with like gray skin, like patchy hair. Like he didn't go in like crazy details of it because he would kind of only the part that he was tearing up, like had tears coming to his eyes, like distraught, like scared, telling us this. He's like, it had claws on its hands and it was walking, its arms were swaying, like patchy fur. He didn't go to like see its eyes. It didn't have like blood red eyes or nothing. But he said he had a snout, you see its teeth, and he's like, it's slobbering, like you can see the slobber coming out of its mouth, and he's like, he just froze. And he was so distraught telling us that story that like I believed it. Like he told me the story like it's been ever been 15, 20 years. I don't know, not 20, probably 15 years ago. 15, 16 years ago, and it stuck with me. Like, and
Wow.
that's before like listening to Bigfoot stories or cryptid stories or ghost stories. It's just like one of those stories. And just for that man to be so distraught while he's telling that story, like scared to death, like wanting to, like tears in his eyes, like you could see the range of emotions when he was saying that. And then
Jeez.
he didn't tell his parents about it. He didn't tell anybody. He'd like tell his friends about it and stuff. And he's like, when his friends all come up to the conclusion that woman like had a baby with a dog or something, and that it goes on to that, because it's young kids. But I mean, pretty much that's his encounter. I mean,
Wow. That's insane. Can you imagine? I understand. And I've interviewed a million people, it seems, for this show now. And when you feel that emotion that Tommy was showing you there, that's real. That's
oh
he
yeah,
saw that.
absolutely, 100%. Like when you see a grown man that like you just seen fist fight four drunk guys and run them off a lake like a few minutes ago, like taking absolutely no nonsense guy. And then like he's telling you the story, and like if you met the guy, like your first impression when you meet the guy is I want you guys to visualize this. Like if you meet this guy and you roll up and you like this guy comes walking to you, your first impression is like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. This guy's an asshole. Like you just got that aura about him. You know what I mean? Like this guy's mean ass. He's an asshole. And then
And just to break down in front of a
yeah,
bunch of
like legit had tears coming to his eyes. It scared him so bad just telling us the story. I guess it brought back the emotions of him. And he's like, he said he's petrified. He said he couldn't move.
last week I shared we had a different Tommy on the show, Matt, and he corroborated my encounter that I had. And it was just he and I, and we both, while it was happening, uh, had to, because there was another guy there, we felt like we had to, man up and couldn't be scared. And for a grown man to have that much emotion in front of a whole group of dudes, that's
Oh yeah,
just unheard of.
yeah.
Wow,
Uh,
that's crazy.
I think his name Tommy Wells. I think his last name was Wells.
Wow,
Yeah, it was wild.
crazy. Huh. I'd like to get him on and talk to him about it. Now, we had a real short one, Matt. I know that you were talking about that one of your cousins had ran into had a small encounter with what he thought was Bigfoot in the river. Do you want to share that one? Oh, so yeah, you were going to tell us about your cousin's experience right there in the river.
Yeah. So my cousin David. I mean, the only way I can explain him, he's just hillbilly country. He's like a grown up Bobby Hill. But anyway,
Howdy.
so, so his experience, what he told me, I think it was all because we lived next door. My dad lived, and we was watching something on Facebook or not Facebook on TV about Bigfoot, like the Patty film or something. And he's like, we was playing PlayStation because we was teenagers. He's like, man, I've seen a Bigfoot, I swear to you. And he got to tell me about that. So he was actually right behind the house that my dad grew up in, and your dad grew up in. There's a big giant riverbank, and it used to be called the Buck Hole. It used to be a really deep hole of water back there, and they'd all go down there and fish. Well, he said him and his dad was wade fishing down there, and there's an island, and it split, and his dad went one way, and he went the other way, he said he come around the bend and he just seen this thing in the middle of the river, and he was just taking his hand and it was kind of bent over and it just smacking the water. Water was going like 20 foot in the air. He said he just
Holy
like
buck.
he was in awe, just kind of froze up, just like looking at this thing. And he said it turned around and seen him. When it seen him, it was in the middle of the river, and the Licking River's pretty good size. I mean, it depending on where he was at, it could vary from like 20 yards to 50 yards. But he said it turned and seen him, stood up and bounded like 3 steps, was out of the river and up a big giant river cliff and was gone.
Jeez.
And he said that was that scared him really bad. He said he was scared to tell his dad because Jeff's a no nonsense dude who probably picked a stick up and beat him with it for like telling him like what
Yeah.
he gonna tell you, you know.
Depending on how much he had partaken that day, maybe.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I saved the coolest one for last because you were directly involved in this, you and your brother.
Yeah,
And
the
yeah,
ghost thing.
you got to tell us about this because
Yeah.
this one made the hair raise up on my neck.
Yeah, this one's wild. So I don't believe in ghosts, and I guess I do now, but I never believed in ghosts. Like you'd see the ghost shows, like I'd make fun of the people on there, like they go into the whatever they's at, like, are you here? Show me you're here. Blah blah blah. Make a sound. Are you angry? They talking smack to a ghost. I can't remember the old lady's name that died in this house. All right, but to put this in perspective, my little brother lives in this house. Is an ancient farmhouse, a little 1-story farmhouse. But there's a family cemetery that is like adjacent to the property, and it connects to my little brother's yard. And the cemetery is so old, like you can't read some of the headstones. We've actually went in there and found one headstone. It was like I was telling you, I was a child. It was like it was months. I can't even remember. It was like like 6 months at the latest, like old, and it passed away. And but my little brother's ex-wife at the time was all into burning sage and charging her moon crystals outside. Be like, it's a full moon, got to set all my crystals out. And I'd make fun, be like, look at this hippie, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just different to me, you know what I mean? I wouldn't like make fun of her, but I'd laugh about it. But she was all like paranormal. Like, it's funny to show up to my little brother's house and I'm like, where's Mary? Oh, she's burning sage over in the bushes in that cemetery. Like, she's over here, got her sage thing going. Like, it's just you laugh about it. But we was sitting in the living room in his house. So it's a farmhouse. It's one room, and then it's one solid room, and you go through just a regular sized door, and there's a little hallway to the right, and a sharp right into my nephew's room. And my nephew had a little ball pit in there. So anyway, so the room we were in was the living room. So you go out of the living room into like the dining room area, and then a sharp right to a little hallway, and then another sharp right, and you're in my nephew's room. He had a little bitty tiny ball pit that you blow up like a swimming pool, and you had all those little balls in it. So we're sitting there watching TV, and we're all in the living room, and we got talking about ghosts or whatever, and so like the conversation ceased, like we're not even talking about it no more. And like a few minutes later, we're sitting there, and I look, and I'm sitting looking at the wall where the doorway is, and there's one of those balls come rolling from my nephew's room, make the sharp left turn into the living room, and rolls right in the middle of the floor in front of all of us. It's me, Cody, his wife, and my nephew. My nephew's asleep. My little brother's like, I told you his house is haunted. He knew the lady's name, like Miss Brown or Miss something. And he starts doing the ghost thing, like, Miss whatever your name is, or we're going to say Miss Brown. Miss Brown, are you with us right now? Show us you're with us. And Mary's over on the couch like, shut up, Cody, shut up. I'm like, oh, you're full of shit. Well, this ball starts going in little bitty tiny circles. And it's just rolling in circles real slow. And all of a sudden the circle starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And finally it's rolling in a perfect circle in a 4-foot diameter. And Cody's talking to it the whole time, like, she ain't gonna hurt nothing. It's Miss Brown. She's in Ethan's room. Her and Ethan sleep together. And Mary's like freaking out. Like, I'm in distraught. I'm like looking at this ball, like I'm getting the creeps. It's like it's creeping me out. And so the ball just kind of starts slowing down, and it just gets smaller and smaller and small, and just comes to a complete stop. I look at Cody, I was like, I love you, bro. I'm out. Never coming back. and I swear to you, I can get Cody. I could probably get Cody to come on here with me, and your listeners get a kick out of me and him cutting back and forth. He'd be like, "I told you, ass ghost is real. I told you."
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
I mean,
Man,
he's
that's
just
creepy.
yeah, it was really creepy.
That is awesome. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on and sharing those stories. I'm sure our listeners are going to love it. If you guys if you are listening and you've had an encounter, reach out to us on with newsworthy at stephenjerry.com or at gmail.com. We'd love to talk to you. Matt, thank you for opening episode or season 2 on encounters for us, brother.
Heck yeah,
Appreciate you.
buddy. Anytime.
Thanks. And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.